Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gibbo the Shaman, and today we're talking about what happens when we have Mars in Aries in the first house. Well, Mars is Aries Lagnesha. That means that it's the Ascendant Lord. So Aries is the Ascendant, and Mars is the planet that rules Aries. Essentially the Ascendant Lord, making Mars the Lagnesha for Aries. For Aries Ascendant. Alright, so before we get into all the analytical stuff of all that this position means, go ahead and go to gibbotheshaman.com. You can purchase your astrology readings there. You can purchase astrology courses and other programs, other courses, other services. So you can check out here this list, or you can just go to my website, gibbotheshaman.com, to choose your service of choice. Alright, so let's see here. So first things first, we have to analyze each of these things. We have three things that we're talking about here. We're talking about Aries and in the first house with Mars here. So Mars being the Lagnesha that rules Aries. So I will say that these energies are quite similar. So this might be a short video. Because we are essentially talking about very, very similar energies. So let's just begin with the first house. What is the first house? Well, I will say Aries and the first house, they go together extremely well because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, ruling the first house. So, when we have this position, it's essentially like there's a lot of this masculine energy. So let's go into each one of these positions though. So, first house or Aries, they are very similar energies, like I said. Aries in the first house rule leadership. So, Aries is the head, Aries is a soldier, Aries is the fighter. He wants to go to war and, battle and fight and compete and conquer and win through, physical action. Like whether it's physically, beating someone up, killing someone. This is what Aries is all about. Like, it's very very strong masculine energy, and it's aggression, it's domination, things like that. So very aggressive A-type personalities, what I see here. And then the first house is all about, first house is your ascendant, which the first house, the ascendant, shapes the whole chart. This is all of your chart, from, everything. And your whole chart is a diagram, a blueprint of what's going to happen in your entire life. So this is very important. This ascendant, and when we look at the ascendant, when we see what the ascendant is, we apply that to the entire chart. So just having Aries ascendant means you have Aries energy. That means you gotta put the glasses of Aries on and look at your whole chart through the lens of Aries. How does Aries, go into those houses? And how does Aries perceive those houses? And those signs and planets and etc. Alright, so when we talk about displacement, you know, we're, as I said, like, Aries is the sign of the warrior. The Ascendant is the personality. It's the lens, the perspective through which you see the world, you know. And so, uh, you know, and then we have Mars here, which I haven't talked about so far. So with Mars here, you know, it's a very powerful combination because you have Mars in its own sign. You have Mars in the first house, which is very powerful. You have Mars as the Lord of the first house. Again, these are all very powerful things which we have with this placement. So it's essentially bringing this masculine energy and, you know, and making that a part of yourself. So what happens when we have an Aries ascendant, just the ascendant alone, yes, that will give you some masculine, you know, tendencies, energy, all that stuff. When we have Mars in here, this is like the Mars is a graha. So if you don't know what that means a moving object through the sky. So what happens with grahas, which is planets, even the sun is called a planet. What happens with grahas is the sign that they're in, and even the nakshatra that they're in, that gets poured into the planet, and that planet spills things into your life. That planet, basically, you could think of it as a vessel, like a container, and that planet is pouring out the whatever the karma is, the result of that sign and that nakshatra that it's in, and it's giving it to you. So this even amplifies the energies of Aries and the first house. Very strong personal skills, personal, like, personality, like, you know, just an A-type personality. You know, you think of, like, masculine authority figures, things like that. And, you know, it's very, very much a masculine planet. And I would even look at, whatever, whenever you're going through this dasha, this Mahadasha especially, if you don't know what that is, look at your, there's some astrology calculators out there that do the Vimshotri Dasha system, like, give you those timelines, those dates. And if you look at where your Mars Dasha is, look at that, because that time period is going to be transformational for you. I mean, there's just so much that could happen. It gives you a lot of energy, gives you a lot of competitive edge, you know, violence, just aggression. Now, keep in mind when I'm talking about some, like, potentially negative masculine qualities, I want you to know that those could be harnessed in some very good and productive ways. For example, being overprotective of someone. I mean, you could be like a cop or a, you know, a Secret Service agent, you know, a spy or something like that. You know, protective security detail, things like that. So, or violence. I mean, soldiers, assassins, things like that. Um, so with this position, we have just a crap ton of like masculine energy. However, you know, as I said before, sports, competition, aggression, physical violence, wanting to be very physical, uh, unsedentary. This person doesn't like to be sedentary. Um, they like to always be moving. They have a very active personality. This person would probably be busy. If they could choose to be busy versus sitting on the couch, they would be busy all the time. Whether that's sports, business, uh, you know, other things, recreational, uh, competitions, debate, debate club, or like you know, chess, strategic, you know, strategy and things like that, competition. So this, it's a very physical, very masculine positioning. So with this planet, with this placement, I mean, it's aspecting, and like that's like, as far as like if you want me to give a prediction or interpretation for this placement, just look at what Aries is. Look at what the first house is like. Uh, personality, head, like in charge, things like that. Um, Also, you know, a derivation of this, the meanings of this could be hot tempered, hot headed. Um, you know, could be just very, very, like, the word like PTSD or trauma comes up, but like also, you know, that's a result of like war or trauma or things like that. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing about Mars is that it's a very spiky planet. It's very sharp. So there tends to be some burning, some like cutting where this area is, where this Mars is placed. So you might have a tendency to be like um burnt or scratched on your head or face. You could have like, I don't know, just from past trauma, from people being violent with you, or you being violent with others, just like from fights or from conflict, sword fighting. I mean, sports injuries could result in some kind of a burn or a scratch to the face, and I'm not talking about something like, you know, insignificant and small. It would be noticeable. Um, and that's for some people. Like, I can't say that this is for everyone, you know, because the chart, yeah, it just depends on which planets are in which houses and all that stuff. So regarding the aspects to this, um, Mars is aspecting the third house. It's aspecting the seventh house and it's aspecting the eighth house. So with the third aspect, it is aspecting your courage, your communication. So this leads someone to be very hot tempered with their communication, very, I wouldn't say, I mean, of course, everybody just demonstrates this at one time or another, but um, it's just very sharp and to the point, and you don't want to beat around the bush. You just want to, this is what we're doing, you know, this is like, you know, some people want to talk about how their day is and the weather and whatever. You want to get down to the deep stuff. What is the point of this conversation? Why are we speaking? Don't waste my time. That kind of stuff. This gives you immense courage, immense strength, personal courage, personal strength, personal willpower, dignity, all that stuff. And then we have the seventh house. aspect. Seventh house aspect, this aspects your marriage partner, your uh, long-term relations, so shall we say. Uh, from that goes from like a long-term girlfriend or boyfriend to a spouse, marriage partner, even business partnerships. Now this can affect that. Business partnerships. You can be very competitive with the people that you're in business with. Like in order to get you moving or motivated, you might have a you might want to have like a competition of who can generate the most sales with your business partner, or something like that. Like if you're in business by yourself or things like that. Um, and so again, this leads to like you might have also a competitive relationship with your wife or your husband, depending on your chart or depending on your who you marry. um, so yeah, so it shows conflicts with the wife or husband, marriage partner. Um, what else? It really shows a lot of like, you know, there's physical relation there. Like for example, you and your partner might want to just, instead of going out to dinner, you might want to go for a jog, or for, playing tennis as a date, or doing physical activities for fun. Things like that. Those might be more suited to you, more suitable, more fun for you than just having to sit at a table together, with the awkwardness, with the silence, and all that stuff, just trying to get a feel for each other. Um, and then finally with the eighth house, you know, Mars eighth house is always a difficult position. Now remember, this is aspecting, so aspecting the eighth house. So it's essentially like the eighth house has some energy, some Mars energy. And when this happens, it's, that can, it can provide some stimulation to maybe your joint finances. However, it's typically seen as a malefic, so it might, cause some problems with your joint finances, with your in-laws, um, your wife's family, because um, second or eighth house is second from the seventh, so your second house is your family. Your eighth house is your wife's family. Also, second house is your savings, your long-term savings. Eighth house is your joint savings. So, and other people's money, using other people's money in, it could be in business or things like that, depending on how that affects the 10th Lord. If the 10th Lord is in the 8th house, you'll probably be doing something business-wise with other people's money, like getting them to invest, or being like a financial manager, financial planner, things like that. That's highly dependent on where the 12th, where the 10th house lord sits. Alright, so what else? Aspects of 3rd, 7th, and 8th. Yeah, you're getting this Mars energy in these houses. So, just be aware that Mars energy is it not only in your first, but it's also in your third, in your seventh, and in your eighth house. So, very important to be aware of that. And so, yeah, I guess that's it for me for today. So, remember, guys, go to gebotheshaman.com. If you want an astrology reading, you can book one online, and I will get back to you shortly. How that works is like, once I get your order, I'll send you an email with the instructions. So everyone naturally looks for like an automatic reply, an automatic email. Sometimes that doesn't go through, but I make sure to reply within like 24 to 72 hours after. Just because I have a lot of things going on. So, alright, guys. So, yeah, that's it for me. So, also check out my astrology courses, gebbotheshaman.com, and yeah, qigong courses, and I also have some yoga stuff in there. Astrology certification course, the astrology readings, of course, the birth time rectifications. So if you're not familiar with that, if you don't know your exact birth time, then I will help you figure it out by doing some, rectification for you. All right, and then I also have room readings available. I have career coaching, life coaching, my trauma healing course, distance energy healing, and all that good stuff available. So go check that out. All right, guys. What else? That's it. So I'm like looking for something else to talk about, but I think that's it. So, yeah, we will go ahead and talk to you guys next time. Peace. Take care. Bye bye.